I'm just so sad that this season has come to an end. I definitely feel like they could have squeezed 4 more episodes out of this season, like how they're squeezing Potomac. Hello? But this is not about that. A stellar season. Shout out to y'all. What's up, everybody? It's your girl Bonnie Scotch. Thank you so much for tuning into my video today. I wanted to bring you a review for Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. This is season 5, episode 16. Now, before we get into this review, go ahead and hit the like button for me. When you hit the like button, it is a free way to support my channel and also let YouTube know that I am here and that you all are rocking with my commentary, so YouTube starts to shoot my content out to other viewers just like you. Quick church announcement. I just hit 4K yesterday. I just want to thank all of the Scotch Bonnets for showing me so much love in the community tab and just for riding with me this whole time. You know, you guys have been boosting me, sharing my content, hitting the like button, getting down in the comments with me, joining me when I go live, and just making me feel so loved. I can't believe that I got to 4K already, but baby, we here. We on the road to 5K. Thank you again so much. I really, really, really do love y'all.
She's an icon, she's a legend, and she is the moment. Now, come on now.
Let's go ahead and get into it. I just want to thank the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City for a phenomenal season. Shout out to production. Shout out to everybody involved. Honestly, this was a thoroughly entertaining season. It was stunning. Shout out to the housewives. Shout out to casting. Shout out to the producers. Y'all put the baddest MFers on the floor.
I'm gonna put the baddest heifers on the floor.
It was all tens for me and no notes this season. So we start this episode with a little montage of all of the drama that has happened between the girls this season. We see one of the producers asking Lisa, do you think that you guys will be able to come back from this? And she's sitting there getting her makeup done and she's like, you know what? I don't know. Now, of course, Heather feels like she has to be the narrator, okay? That's the only thing that she has done all season. In any case. So we start off with Meredith apologizing to Heather for the night before. Heather has evaded accountability once again because instead of Heather telling Meredith why she was talking about her marriage with these other ladies, she is making the situation about how Meredith raised her voice at her. Now, both things can be true at the same time. Don't yell at me, but also, like, you need to address what you were saying about Meredith. But listen, if you can evade accountability and you don't get caught, then sure. So Heather is planning for this Lisa Barlow farewell lunch where everybody has to dress up like Lisa. So they all have on these brown synthetic wigs. Whitney left the tags on her clothes, on her purse, on the shirt and the top, and nobody noticed this at first. And she says later on, well, you know, Lisa, it was rumored that you actually return your clothes back to the store. We'll come back to that in a second. Whitney Rose has really played her position. She didn't really have a lot going on. She didn't have anything going on, but I felt like she added to the comedic relief. She was really here for clocking Lisa, and we needed somebody to be on Lisa's ass this season. Listen, shout out to Godiva Goddess. Me and her, we be going back and we be tussling in the comments a little bit, but she knows this love. She knows I love her. But listen, we did need somebody to go after Lisa this season because Lisa is always evading accountability. She can say whatever she wants, and then when somebody else says something to her, she starts crying. She's a victim. Whitney was the perfect person to do it because we all know how much Lisa hates Whitney. So anything coming from Whitney is just going to hit a lot harder. So they're all impersonating Lisa at this lunch table. She laughed at everybody. And when Whitney gets up, of course she has the tags on her clothes and nobody noticed it at first, and she starts walking away and Lisa's like, wait, you have your tags on. And she's like, no, I'm imitating you, girl. And Lisa gets really upset. Lisa's like, what is the implication? And Whitney is like, that you're not as real as you try to come off. Whitney tells Lisa, you're bad at diving into connections and understanding people. I think that you're in friendships that serve you, and I think that when they no longer serve you, you're gone. Baby, she ate Lisa up in this scene. Gave her face an earthquake. Lisa says, "You'll never sell as many companies as me. You'll never be as ethical as me." Is it me, or does Lisa sound a little bit like Donald Trump going into, "You'll never do this as much as me. You'll never do this better than me"? She has those Donald Trump isms. I feel like she's a huge Donald Trump fan. I am fully aware that some of these ladies are Trump supporters. Lisa stands up and she says to Whitney, "Take that effing wig off your head." What I wish Whitney did was stood up and said, "Well, take it off my fucking head then, since you want to be a gangster." Anyway, Brittany starts piping up on behalf of Lisa, and Mary is like, "I don't know why you're chiming in when you were just recording us." Brittany is like, "Oh, you were doing the same thing, Mary. You were just recording in the car." Mary told her to shut up. Meredith started jumping off in Brittany's ass, and then Bronwyn started. Actually, it was in Bronwyn, it was Heather. So Brittany is like, "You all have been torturing me. You've been calling me violent, vicious, and cruel." And she starts up with the dramatics.
"Oh my God. Girl, you are an actress and I love it, honey. You need an Academy work."
She says, "I'll never recover from that, Meredith." Meredith is like, "Don't talk to me anymore. I'm not interested in you." So Brittany gets up. She starts crying. She runs away. She's like, "I clearly don't have any friends here." Mary's like, "Girl, let her go." Angie goes after her to console her, and Mary did not like that. Mary feels as though she just called me a liar and you're going to go chase her now. So then Brittany goes, we'll talk about that more in a second. So then Brittany gets up. She goes off to call Jared. Mary is saying, "Why are you chasing the girl that doesn't like me, who's accusing me of recording too? Don't run after people who don't like me." So then we have Mary telling Lisa and Bronwyn that she feels betrayed by Angie because she feels as though Angie went running after Brittany. Listen, I feel like you need to be telling Angie this. I guess I get how she's feeling. But it's like you do need to voice that with her, because I think that people in friendships move different, right? There are some people who feel like any enemy of mine should be an enemy of yours. I felt like the situation was not that serious. So now we have Mary telling Lisa and Bronwyn that she feels betrayed by Angie because she feels as though Angie went running after Brittany. There are some people who feel like, if I have a problem with somebody, I don't want you talking to that person. There are some friends who feel like that person didn't do anything to me. I'm not going to treat them some type of way. That's between y'all. So it really comes down to how you move in friendships. So now the women are all at dinner. Meredith is talking about being willing to repair her friendship with Angie. Now the food comes out and Mary ordered a pizza, so did Angie. And Angie's like, "Hey Mary, do you want a slice of my pepperoni?" Mary ignores her at first. Angie says to Mary, "What's going on?" And Mary's like, "What do you mean? You ran after Brittany. You clearly don't care how I feel." So Angie is like, "Mary, you said that God brought us together." And Mary is like, "I can be wrong, right?" And Angie is like, "Are you serious, Mary?" This was really hurtful, and I didn't personally feel like the situation warranted Mary acting like that. And then Angie is like, "Give me your hand. I love you." And she said to Mary, "You changed my life." Angie says, "I see you differently from everybody else, and I've gotten to know you different from everybody else, and I don't like that you're shutting me out this way." Mary says that both of her parents abandoned her. She said, "My dad admitted that he didn't like me, and my mom, who was my best friend, abandoned me as well." Angie says, "You know, I felt abandoned too because of the way in which my mom died." I really feel like Mary needs to go to therapy. No shade. Like, I just don't feel like it's fair to lash out at your friends like this. If you have a problem with what they're doing and the way that they're moving, you need to have that conversation before you just, I don't know, like, it's just scary to me when somebody can so easily emotionally cut you off and not tell you the reason. I understand emotionally cutting somebody off if you've had like repeated conversations about the same thing or whatever. But it's just like, this was her first offense, I feel. And it's like, Mary, you really could have, you know what I mean, treated this situation a little bit different. Because at the end of the day, Mary, you really do love Angie. Mary in her confessional says that Angie brought her sisterhood and she's like family to her. She said that she's blessed to have a friend in Angie.
A state of love, bonding, trust, real friendship.
Can I tell y'all, both times that I watched this episode, I was sobbing. I was boo-hooing watching this scene. I mean, I'm shocked that I have it pulled together right now. Y'all know I'm good for a cry. Y'all know I'm not too ashamed to get up here and cry. I mean, it happens. I'm a real person, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think for a long time I would always like be like, oh, I would never cry on the internet. Like, it's just so silly. Like, why would you cry on the internet? And then I get up here and I review these shows that are, you know, super vulnerable at times, and you know, they have these deeply emotional moments, and then I expect that I'm gonna be so stoic and have it all together. No, that's unrealistic. I'm a big baby. I'm very, very sensitive, and so I'm just shocked that I'm not like a mess right now. Anyway, so then we get into this conversation about the Alibaba rumor, and Meredith is like, well, I met up with a guy and he said that you reached out to him, and it's all this back and forth. And then Whitney is like, Lisa, it's no secret that you fed Reality Von T's information. And baby, the way Heather's face is so cracked, because apparently Whitney reached out to Monica, you know, after last season. This is like the ultimate betrayal. So Heather is just sitting there with her mouth open. I guess I realized for the first time in this episode that Heather has a big old thick pork tongue. It's just like a 12-ounce New York strip sitting in her mouth. When she had her mouth open like that, I'm like, Heather, close your mouth, girl. I'm just here for Whitney saying that she reached out in desperation. I'm just here for the chaotic nature of this alone. Whitney said that she felt backed into a corner by these two. She's pointing to Meredith and Lisa. Lisa's like, get your finger out of my face. And Whitney points it back at her like this. And I'm sorry, y'all, this was camp. This was camp. Mary started taking up for Whitney in this moment. And she said, you all are so mean. You make people do things out of despair. I've been there. You all are not the friendliest people. We have Heather telling Whitney and Meredith, listen, you both are equally as involved in the situation. You should be ashamed to even have his number. Delete his information now, the both of you. And Heather's like, look at us. We're obsessed. We're trying to expose each other and find receipts. And that's not okay. And then Heather starts going off into her little monologue. Okay, you know, she loves her monologue. She says, we fight a lot of these things on the outside world, and we shouldn't have to be fighting each other about those same things as well. She's like, we made fun of Monica for having a burn book, but we all have our own burn books and our phones, and none of us are without fault. So now she has this bright idea to pull up the meanest text that they have all said about one another and to read it to that person out loud. Is this a good idea?
Absolutely not.
Is this good TV? Absolutely yes. Mary says to Heather, I wrote this about you. Heather immediately starts crying. Mary wrote about Heather, from day one, I've never felt accepted by her or included as a part of this group. She changed once she became successful. I think it went to her head. And she started getting aggressive and referring back to all the things that she accomplished and threw it back in our faces. Instead of being grateful for her blessings, it changed her to become competitive and super mean, all while she enjoyed the feeling of fame. She has forgotten the people who helped her to get where she is, and who are truly happy and proud of her, like I have been and always will be. Mary ate you up in this one, Heather. Heather says that she understands why Mary said those things. Heather says that she likes the person that she has become better. She feels more authentically herself. Heather thinks that having more boundaries and having more confidence make her seem mean. And I don't think that Heather is truly hearing Mary. She thinks that it's her newfound confidence that makes her mean. And it's like, no, girl, you uncovered the person that you have always wanted to be when you became successful. Now, I do think that everybody changes when they get money and they become successful. It is just a natural way of life. When something major happens in your life, a major transition, of course it's going to change you, right? But in what ways did it change you? Because if now you're bitchy and you think that bitchiness means confidence, you told on yourself here, Heather. Brittany says, the meanest thing that I have ever said about anyone in this group is that I would rather have tea with Bronwyn than with Mary. I don't believe that for a second. So now it's Bronwyn's turn to read her text about Brittany. She says, Brittany is emotionally manipulative. She parentifies her children. She loves to trauma bond, and she's doing that with us. It's below her intelligence level, her age and maturity level, and it makes me feel nervous and furious and embarrassed for her. And she's right. Bronwyn, I'm with you when you're right, sister. Brittany gets away with being a dumb blonde and, playing up being this doe-eyed, innocent kind of, oh, I don't really know what's going on. It's like, girl, you're middle-aged with 2 kids, girl. It's too late. This is late. Very late behavior. That was okay in your 20s. I feel like white women can even get away with that in their 30s to some degree, but you're 50, sister. Girl, get it together. Bronwyn pretty much called Brittany a deadbeat just the same way I've been calling her this whole time. Now, do I want Brittany to come back to this show? Absolutely, because she's great TV. She's a mess. Bronwyn said to Brittany, I would like to know a different side of you if there is one. She ate her up with that again, and Brittany didn't even catch the shade in that one. So now we're up to Angie's text about Bronwyn. Bronwyn gets emotional right away after she read it. Angie says, Bronwyn seems nice. I like her business plan, marrying a guy who has 1 foot in the grave and 1 on a banana peel. Sister, let me tell you something. The way I was in here with tears coming down my face when Bronwyn was reading that text that Angie sent, when Angie said that Todd got 1 foot in the grave and 1 on a banana peel. Bitch! That's my bitch. I don't give a fuck what none of y'all say. But I like mine better. I'd rather be self-made. She's nice, but she doesn't listen because her ears are stitched down to her face so tight she can't hear anything.
Oh, everyone in black. Hi,
Okay, I love you.
She wears a hot dog outfit to remind us she sucked her way to the top. I'm sorry. Angie's a real shit talker and she's a real reader, and there's nothing any of you can say to make me hate her. Bronwyn says, if Angie really feels that I'm this ugly on the outside and ugly enough on the inside to want to be with someone for money, Bronwyn, stop it, girl. Stop. Stop acting like you're not with this man for money. You are with that man for security, like so many women. And I don't fault you for that. I don't fault the rest of the women around the world who have to be with a man for money. That's just the nature of the world we live in, baby. It's capitalism. Hello? It's called capitalism. Hand to God on everything that I love. There are women in my family. I'm not going to name no names because I know it's folks watching my channel. Child, baby, I learned that people in my family are watching my channel. I was like, oh, okay. Okay, I got to be careful. But listen, it's women in my family who have told me to my face that they didn't love their husband and that they were with them for the security of their children. Married a whole man just so that you could have a padded income, just so you could have that security for your children, that stability for your children. I understand it. I'm never mad when a woman makes this decision. Now, the only time I'm mad when a woman makes this decision is, a lot of the times if it adversely affects the child, if the man is, a predator, that's a whole different situation. But, listen, again, we're not mad at you, Bronwyn, for getting your money. Get your money, sister. Get your black card. Make your life easier. But we're not going to act like this is not the situation. You didn't marry Todd for love, so stop. I just want Bronwyn to be real with herself for a moment, because you came to this show, you did reveal to us that Todd had this affair and that he treats you a certain kind of way, whatever, and then you go to watch what happens live and then you change up your story, and it's like, girl, I know that you don't want your security snatched away from. I totally understand that, but you talking out of both sides of your neck, and you do it a lot. So this is Lisa's text about Meredith. I feel Meredith digs up information to weaponize it. It's fucking dirty and I don't like it. Now, I don't believe that this is the meanest text that Lisa has in her phone. We're at Heather's text about Whitney. Whitney is a low-life, thirsty piece of shit. She sold her soul for fame and recognition. She's a snake and I should have never trusted her. I've been so stupid and loyal, carrying her Wild Rose products, and we never sold a fucking one. Heather tells Whitney, because they're so close, that when Whitney betrays her, it just cuts that much deeper. And I do understand that, because Whitney was cutting up with Heather a couple of seasons ago. So now let's get into Whitney's text about Lisa. She wrote this text to Angie, by the way. So I was at a party with Justin, and a woman approached us saying that if we ever wanted to bring in a third, that she's our girl. In fact, Lisa and John can vouch for her because she made out with Lisa while jerking off John.
And next thing you know, she take you home.
Lisa says, "What the fuck is that?" and throws her phone. So Angie starts cracking up and covering her face, because the fact that Whitney has figured out a way to squeeze in another rumor about Lisa and John, I'm sorry, y'all. That was sickening.
That's sickening.
Whitney apologizes, or she tries to at least, and Lisa starts crying again, and she's like, "Stop fucking apologizing. You don't mean it." Lisa says that this is how you burn a relationship to the ground. She says, 3 strikes, you're out, I'm done. Whitney tells her, "You need to shut the fuck up and listen to me." And then she picks up one of the flowers that Lisa is holding, and then she throws it at Lisa. And then Lisa says, "I heard that Sean does circle jerks. How does that feel?" And Angie says, "What the fuck was that?" And then she stands up, she starts throwing flowers at Lisa, and then one of the producer gets up and then runs after Angie. Angie's titties are falling out of her dress at this point. Baby, the way the reunion is about to eat down. Do you understand me? We are going to be so fed for the next 3 weeks. Mary gets up and she walks away. She is talking to Angie and she's like, "I don't know why she has to say your name. She's horrible and she's mean." No, but seriously, why did Lisa put Angie's husband in it? And they're supposed to be friends. Didn't they just make up? Lisa's weird for that. Sorry. Bronwyn says that, "Listen, a lot has been said about my marriage too." She said that John is no better than anybody else at this table. Bronwyn, again, I'm with you when you're right, okay? Lisa gets up and walks away from the table. Meredith eventually gets up and walks away from the table. A stellar episode, a stellar season.
Y'all are mothers. Like, y'all are mothers.
Get down in the comments with me. Let me know how you all felt about this episode. You already know that I want to hear from you. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. You all are watching, but you're not subscribing. That's a problem for me. Go ahead and hit subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you know when I'm posting as well. And I will see y'all for the next one. Peace.
Come on. It's me, El Grande, or call me Papi Chulito. Yo tengo mucho loving for you mommies if you legal. For honeys, nothing equal to the way I tap that spot. Get your cat hot, guess what? You hit the jackpot. Candlelight dinners for you winners. See, I'm like Don Juan, beat me, sweetie. I get in ya. Sugar, I'ma put you in a beautiful